Oh, hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at Wildman Lifts. I'm your host, Wildman. Now on today's episode, I was warming up right now because it is a very cold morning and very hazy, but we are in winter, so this is what's expected. And on today's menu, I'm going to be doing the deadlift, as you can see, with the chains. And that's pretty much all I know I'm doing right now. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I've normally done in my past videos, where you usually see my mug down here, giving you some awesome tips. Today, I'm going to kind of walk you through like it's a little bit of a live version. And I'm not going to have any like copyrighted music playing or anything like that. I'm just going to be moving through this workout. And you're basically going to be working out with me almost in real time. I'm going to edit it just a little bit because I don't want to waste too much of your time. But for today, there's only one thing I kind of know I want to do, and it's deadlift with chains. I really don't know what else I'm going to do. I'm kind of just poking around right now, and this is going to be unfamiliar territory with me. I have trained like this before in the past, but it's not my favorite thing to do. What I like to do is I like to look at the entire month, and I like to plan workouts accordingly on what day I'm going to do it because I have a very busy life. But today, I'm kind of just going to move through this workout. I'm going to go up in weight and kind of just see how I feel, and then base the rest of the workout how well I perform on this and how I'm feeling during the process. So this will be kind of different, but you'll be able to follow along and kind of see how I do it. So let's pop into today's workout and let's get started. As you can see, I've decided to do the tire flip, which is absolutely disgusting right now. I had to flip it over here just to get into place, and it's all wet and everything like that. So hopefully it'll dry out by the time I'm done. And I like doing tire flips usually on my deadlift days because it really gets everything warmed up. Weighs about 260 pounds. Nice little thing to get warmed up for the deadlift, but it does make you pretty disgusting. But strongman is a dirty sport. Sometimes you get dirty, and sometimes it feels good to get your hands dirty. I'm also going to be doing these sledgehammer strikes. Really good for shoulder mobility. Really good for your obliques. Really good for overall conditioning as well. I'm just going to do 5 on each side. Try to make it a good number. And I think this is 5. Lost count because I was talking to you all. So this is pretty much going to be the giant strength set for today. I like to do giant strength training because I can get a lot of movements done, and they help with the lift as I get heavier on the weight. And it's just good extra conditioning to do. One of my favorite ways to get out here and to work out. Otherwise, I would be really bored if I only had deadlifts and that was it. Or if I only had tire flip and that was it. So makes me do a lot, gets me conditioned, gets me warmed up. As you can see, I'm a little bit out of breath. And that's how I like to train. It's always a little hard to try to get out here and try to figure out exactly how your body feels. I'm currently in my warm-up phase. I've done my priming where I was, as you saw me earlier, warming up, running. And I got my muscles primed by doing a lot of movements that kind of get my shoulder blades active, my rotator cuffs active, my hips active, and my body just a little bit warm. But this is all still a warm-up. Going through these movements, going up in weight, it's all getting up to my top set. And it's kind of hard in the beginning to know if you're going to hit your goal or not. So I start to experience a little bit of stress about now, hoping that, I'm going to be able to hit my number today. Because as I'm just starting off with this weight, it's kind of hard to like get into the mode, if you know what I mean. Trying to do a dead stop instead of doing like reps, because the first rep's always hardest on a deadlift. Once you start repping it out, it's really easy because you're already at the eccentric portion at the top and lowering it down. So you already have that tension. So I'm trying to let go of that tension completely and trying to do dead stops all the way up. But as I get to like my top sets, you'll see I'll start repping it out because I want to do more reps. That's kind of the focus with today with heavyweight. I'm definitely making bigger jumps than I have in the past. If you watch my earlier videos, I usually do like 7 rounds-ish to my strength sets. And lately they've been getting to like 5 rounds. So I'm taking out a whole 2 rounds, which doesn't mean anything much other than I just feel more confident going up in weight a lot faster, adding 2 plates on each side until I'm getting to my desired weight compared to what I used to. And what I used to do was between the 7 rounds on the strength giant set, I would do 3 rounds of the variation giant set, but I would keep the workouts I was doing in between the weight the same and on an even number, like 3 to 5 to 6 reps. And by the time I was done with those 10 rounds total between the two, then I would be able to hit an even number on all the implements that I'm doing as I'm going up in weight. So all that means to me now is either go up in reps now on the tire flips and the sledgehammers, or I do more rounds within the variation giant set, or I just keep everything to the assistance giant set to make sure that I land on an even number, because these implements are still very important to land on an even number for me. Coming up to the 4th round now. The 5th round is going to be my top set today, for sure. Even if it goes too easy or whatever, I'm just going to pack it away there because that's the weight that I wanted to hit. But these black weights I just put on the end, those are actually 35-pound bumper plates. So these are 45, the reds. The black is 35 pounds. This makes it about 385 at the bottom of the lift. And then as I rise, these are 45-pound chains total. So as I get to the top, it's going to be adding 45 pounds until I get to the top, which is going to be 430 pounds. So I'm just going to do this for 1 rep. This will be a big determiner to see how I feel and what I should go for after this for the 5th round. But I'm excited. Just love being out here and getting some work done and feeling good as I'm lifting heavyweight. All right, so that moved pretty good. My left hip's kind of firing pretty slow here, so I might need to do some mobility drills to try to get it activated. But overall, I am happy with that. On the sledgehammer strikes, am I contorting in any way to try to activate the lats more or anything like that? No, I'm doing this as if I was working on the railway, hitting stakes into the ground like in the railroad back in the day. I'm just thinking about efficiency and long-term and most power output. But coupling that with the deadlift and the tire flips definitely engages my core as well. So I'm getting a core workout all around. That's just only part of the equation. So far, feeling pretty good. When I get to my top set, I'm trying to make sure that everything is good. The weights are tight on the bar. I make sure that the chains, since I roll them a little further away, I'm using 5-pound metal plates as like stoppers. So I want to make sure that I'm out in front so I don't hit them when I'm coming down, throw me off balance. So I want the chains to kind of be within the ratio of where I'm going to be landing. So these are 25-pound plates I just added to this. So that's going to make it 435 pounds at the bottom of the lift. And as it rises off the ground with those 45-pound chains, it's going to make it 480 pounds at the top. So the idea is I'm going to hit it for one. I know I'm going to be able to hit this for one. I just don't know if it's going to go fast. And if it does, do I want to do reps and rep it out once I'm there and keep the eccentric portion tight? Or do I want to completely decompress and go for reps at a dead stop? So it's kind of my dilemma right now, but we'll kind of see how it goes. Once I get myself amped up and I lift it, then we'll see how well it goes up. And if it goes up well, then we will take it from there. So let's see how this goes. I really don't get a ritual or anything that I do before I lift big weight. Just try to make sure my head is right. I don't use like smelling salts or do anything different than I'm doing. Sometimes I might turn my music up louder, play a song that I know gets me amped up, but in the end, it's my job to lift this and not anybody else's. So really nothing else is going to be able to help at this point. Just hopefully I've done everything right. Ooh, very nice. A lot easier than I anticipated. So that means I'm on a great path right now. I couldn't be happier with how that went. I'm ecstatic right now. Feeling that weight in my hands and knowing that I'm doing a good job and using good form, controlling the weight, not jerking the weight. That means a lot to me. So this is going to be a great day. Already, I don't care what happens the rest of the day. You hit something like this and you do a good job and you feel good about it and you feel healthy, the rest of the day is going to go even better. Watch. So about 435 on the bottom. Last time I did this, I did 3 reps at a dead stop, and that was very hard for me. So instead of doing a dead stop, I did 1, which moved faster than I thought it was going to be, but it definitely was a challenge. I definitely felt like it was heavy. But then keeping my back straight and my form correct, just lowering it down eccentrically, I was able to pull out 2 more reps because it's a lot easier. The second and third rep of deadlift, always easier because you're already at the top of the lift. The reason why it's called a deadlift is because at the bottom of the lift, it's at a dead stop. That's why it's called a deadlift. You've got no momentum or nothing. Unlike a bench press or a back squat where you start at the top of the lift and you eccentrically lower it down, right? You eccentrically lower it down. That's a lot easier to do than having to pick it up from the ground at a dead stop. If I had like pillars right here and I picked it up and moved the pillars out of the way and then lowered it down, probably could have done like 5 or 6 reps. It's that first one that pulls all the energy out of you because it's the hardest to get up to your hips, and then the rest are a lot easier. I have a lot of weightlifter friends that can do way more than I can on deadlift, and they can rep it out, right? Like they could do 500 pounds without any chains on, and they can rep it out for like 5 or 6 reps, and that's really good for them, and I'm very happy with them. What I noticed though is then you ask them to back squat or to bench press, and they are not even compared to my numbers there because some people just have very natural, strong posterior chains. I don't. I've had to work for everything that I got. I'm not a natural, elite athlete in my genes. So I kind of just have to work with what I got and where I'm at in my own weightlifting journey. But I'm very happy because I don't know a lot of people that could do this and wish that they could do this without even the chains on. But they wish they could just do 435 for 1 rep. So I'm very grateful for what I have and what I've worked hard for. And I'm never going to take that away from myself. So wherever you are in your weightlifting journey, don't compare yourself to others. Look at yourself, see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And then every year, look back at your old lifts and see if you're getting better and if you're improving. Even if you improve by 5 pounds more a year from now, that's really good. And don't let anybody tell you any different. That's progress, and progress is a marathon and not a sprint. So we've entered into a new year, obviously. We're in January, and I've heard a lot about the snatch grip deadlift, and I have done the snatch grip deadlift in the past. And if you look at a really good elite strongman, such as Hafthor Bjornsson and Mitchell Hooper, I know for a fact those 2 guys include snatch grip deadlift into their workouts. And Mitchell Hooper, 1 world's strongest man, a pretty decent deadlifter in my opinion. He wins a lot of competitions, and deadlift is definitely in there. But Hafthor Bjornsson also has the world record. He's broken the world record, I think, 3 times with the deadlift. And if you look at his programming, which I bought a copy of it, he has snatch grip deadlift in his programming. So when I look back on how my bench press and how my overhead press got strong, I kind of owe it to the secondary lift that I do after I'm done with the main strength portion. So with the bench press, the incline bench press is typically where I feel carries over a lot into the bench press and into the overhead. And I feel because I do that almost consistently every single bench press day, I feel like that's why my bench press is where it's at today. And the same thing with the overhead press. My overhead press, I believe, has gotten a lot better because I've started doing seated dumbbell presses for reps. And I've always struggled with deadlift and squat. My CNS system is always battling back and forth. So with the back squat, I've been adding front squats as the secondary movement, and other times I'll do the leg press. Those are kind of the 2 movements I'll switch out on the squat day. But I really didn't have like an accessory workout to do when it comes to the deadlift. So I usually do like stones or carries and stuff like that. But I really wanted to like hammer my deadlift and get my deadlift stronger. And I also want my back squat to go up equally, which has been pretty challenging, but that's what I'm trying to do this new year. I'm trying to make it so that my back squat is good and my deadlift is good, and neither one of them are suffering because I'm focusing more on each other. So wish me luck on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start trying this snatch grip deadlift. Right off the bat, I can feel definitely in my hips how much those deadlifts have taken a toll on them. So even on that first one, like my body was like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? Chill out. But once I started repping it out, my body's like, oh, okay, this isn't like terribly hard. We could do this, which is a good thing. Not trying to go for a whole lot of weight right now, just trying to get used to it. Maybe I'll keep the weight consistent for a while, just to kind of make sure, like, this is just supposed to be an accessory to the deadlift. I'm not trying to see how much 1 rep max I could do on a snatch grip deadlift, because I don't care. Same thing as I don't really care what my max press is on my incline bench press. I use it to get better at the flat bench press. So kind of the same concept here. I'm also not worrying about grip. As you can see, I do a lot of other things that strengthen my grip. I do pull-ups, I do farmer carries. So because of that, I'm not really too concerned about my grip. I'm only trying to work my back and my posterior chain. So that's what I'm trying to do with this. One of the best accessory movements that you could do on the planet for deadlift. So I'm giving it a try and giving you my honest feedback. So here we go. All right, that was a little bit better. Kind of figured out where I need to put my grip. Feels like if I just put it on the rings at the end of the knurling here in the middle, then that's a good place where I'm starting to feel my back get activated a lot more. Had my hands out a little bit too wide before. Oh, that tire's getting a lot harder. We're coming up to my top set now. Like to do the variation giant set. Usually it's a secondary assistant lift to the strength giant set. So I'm going to do 6 reps. And I know I'm going to be able to do it because 185 was way too easy. I probably could do way more than this if I wanted to right now, but this isn't the point. The point is to kind of just sharpen that skill so that way it carries over into the deadlift. And I usually always do a 6 rep max on the variation giant set. Sometimes if I'm doing a 1 rep max on the strength, then for the variation, I might do a 3 rep max, for example, but it's never usually 1 rep max. Fairly rarely. Sometimes I still do it just to kind of see where I'm at because I'm curious, but I feel like 6 reps is a good weight to do to build strength and size. So that's why I do it always 6 rep maxes on my variation giant set. You gotta love these figure 8 straps. They're so much easier than regular straps. Okay. Fairly easy. Oof. Feeling a little impingement in my hips, which is pretty common when I lift heavy like this. So, but we're working it out right now. And as I'm moving through, it should fix itself. Alrighty, I took a minute to put the tire away because, like I said earlier, I had to do about 3 reps to get it here, and that counts. I'm very lazy. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm very lazy, and that counts. So then all I had to do was, once I was done with the variation giant set, I just did 3 reps back there, and then I just did more reps on the sledgehammer to equal it out. So now for the assistance giant set, I'm going to be doing 3 rounds, and now I've got some sun, thank goodness, because it was freezing just a second ago. Now that the sun's out, it's getting a lot warmer, which is good because I want to pump some blood back into the areas that I was working. So this is going to be more of a bodybuilding athletic portion. This is how I like to set up my assistance. Everything I'm going to do here is going to carry over into the big lifts, but it's important to do the big lifts first, make those muscles tired, and then to do this extra work at the very end, like kind of like a bodybuilding, like explosive athletic style, in order to make sure that you're compounding on the work and building those muscles, so that way you're able to lift heavier and build size as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the seated bicep curl. Then I'm going to do some weighted ab mat sit-ups. And then I'm going to do some box jumps, not to a very high length. The point here is to do more explosive, short interval reps than it is to jump high. Otherwise, I'd have to do less reps. So let's jump into that right now. That's pretty much it. I usually rest about 60 seconds to 90 seconds in between these intervals, because the point is try not to go one after the other. Trying to make sure that you catch your breath. I'm still tired from all the work I've done. So I get my breath, I get my rest, I kind of rejuvenate, and then I return and I hit it again. That's kind of the whole point of the assistance giant set. Alrighty. Rested about 60 seconds-ish, I believe. So it's time to get started again. Kettlebells are only 25 pounds each. Being in that seated position and having it go out in front of you makes it a lot harder. But I've ruptured both bicep tendons. So this is mainly about trying to work that mobility around my elbow because it doesn't move as well as it used to before I had surgery. It's pretty stiff, so that's why I'm kind of doing this. Ooh. So the whole point of this box jump right here, it's a really good athletic movement, number one. I don't know a lot of people when I train them. I'm actually surprised how many people can't jump even to the size of that box, the 12-inch box, the one that I was just doing it on. They have a hard time doing that, let alone doing like this height, which I could do all of them. But I'm surprised how many people I train can't do that, and I have to teach them how to do that. And that's because that's a very athletic skill. It's like throwing a baseball, shooting a basketball. There is a technique to this. And if you get it right, it carries over into sports, in almost every sport. So my hip was feeling impinged and kind of tight. That's why I decided to up the reps and lower the height on the box and just kind of do a consistent format because my body really doesn't want to jump right now. My body is tired from all the work it's been doing. And the deadlifts have exhausted my central nervous system and my hips. So forcing myself to jump to a height that I know I can make and doing it for reps, eventually I start feeling like my hips, my back, my legs, they actually start to feel better. And then I start to feel a burning sensation in my legs where I know I'm getting a good leg workout as well. So this is one of my favorite movements to do, especially when I'm kind of feeling a little impingements in my hips because I'm already starting to feel a lot better. So even this is starting to get heavy now because I'm starting to feel the fatigue. So even that's starting to get hard, even though it's lightweight. Purpose of this weighted ab mat setup too carries a lot over into deadlift and to back squat. And again, because I'm feeling it kind of in my hips and everything, this ab mat also stretches out my hips when I go down to the bottom and stretches out my back. So another reason why I love to do this. I try to keep the kettlebell as close as I can to the chest. And as I get tired, it gets more tempting to move it away and out in front of me. So I have to maintain that discipline. Keeping my elbows down helps. just to prove to you, I can do the 12 inch if I wanted to. But you could see I have to stabilize myself a lot more on the top, which makes it a lot harder to do. So if I was to do that, I would have to do probably like 5 reps. Because once I'm at the top, I have to make sure that I'm stabilized. Hold my ground a little bit more than this. This I can go a lot faster when it's smaller on the height. And sometimes I actually put a cover on the big old tire. I put like a sheet of plywood on there, and I'll jump up to that. But again, I'm only doing like 3 reps because that's a high height. And the more you start to get fatigued on high heights, the more you have the chance of tripping and hurting yourself. So when I want to go fast and I want to get repetitions and I want to move quickly and with a purpose in an athletic movement pattern, that's why I like to go with a shorter box jump, especially after really heavy lifts. What I think I'm going to do is because I'm going off by feel right now, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some stubborn curls. That's what I take really light weight, and then I just hold it up like this, perpendicular, like a 90-degree angle, and then I just shake them a little bit, and then I bring them down. Because my biceps are tired from all the deadlifting I've been doing and from the seated bicep curls, so now it's just kind of time to finish them off, and that really burns my bicep when I'm done doing all the heavy work. Then I'm also going to do some lat pull downs, some hitchhikers, and then I'm going to do some flutter kicks as well to finish off the core. So we're going to do that starting right now. Important to make sure like you lower it down slow, but bring it up quick. So you want this part to be quick, and then you want to lower it down slowly. I really don't have a time of how much I shake them. I kind of just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I bring them back down. Always worked for me. And now that I'm talking, I don't know what number I'm on. I think I'm at 7. You guys counting, you're probably like, oh man, he's off. It's 8. More do you feel it burning? 9, 10. Now I got the gardeners here, so now we'll see if the microphone picks up the gardeners or not. They're my neighbor's gardeners, they're not mine. Not a heavy band, very light band. Just trying to work this portion right here. Trying to make sure that I'm getting a good pump in this section, because this is a very important workout exercise to do if you're trying to get good at deadlift. Really works that part of bringing the bar close to your shin. It also works getting the bar out of the rack on a bench press, and it's just a generalized good movement to do like muscle ups and other gymnastic movements. This is what really builds up that upper back a lot. So I'm going to be doing high repetitions with this. I'm going to do about 30 rounds of this, or 30 reps, and just trying to make sure that I'm getting a good pump, and then I'm trying to get my back to be finished off by the time I'm done. Since it's relatively light, I can do that. Then I'm going to do some hitchhikers as well. This is just mainly for shoulder mobility. Ever since I've been doing these, I rarely get shoulder impingements. Base pulls, hitchhikers like these, and back work. Making sure that you're hitting your back all the time really makes your shoulders fit in its socket and not get any impingements. And then for flutter kicks, I love doing flutter kicks because it works your core, especially the bottom part of your core. But it also works my inner thighs, which is super important because people often miss those, especially guys. They rarely hit their inner thighs, and that's why they get hip impingements or their squat starts to suck because they don't have any inner thigh strength. So doing this makes sure that I get some really decent strength on the inside of my thighs, and then I'm getting a good efficient ab workout as well, which is super important in any lift, of course. I usually just do about 50 reps. Alrighty, so now we're gonna speed this up now with my fancy editing skills, and we're gonna make sure this goes rapid fast. So here we go. Alrighty, the gardeners are working over there on the neighbor's yard, so it's gonna be a lot louder. So I'm gonna go ahead and now end the workout by putting my weights away. Yes, I count that as a workout because I'm absolutely exhausted right now. And this is basically like a loaded carry in Strongman. So here we go. Alrighty, so there you go. That's a typical Strongman workout for the day. Look, there's a microphone on my head. Anyway, let me know if you guys like this kind of style of editing, because I've been doing kind of the same editing style for like almost 2 years. So I'm trying to change it up. And let me know in the comments what you think, because I love to interact with people that watch my channel and have their own thoughts and opinions. Even if it's negative, you can't be mad at me if I respond and defend my positions. But even if it's negative, I always appreciate the comments, because whether it's good or bad comments, they're all comments, and YouTube recognizes that, puts that in their algorithm, and I get more people exposed to my channel. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of training. So typically I like to do on a deadlift day, I primarily focus on back and hamstrings. I didn't do hamstrings this time around because I felt that with hamstrings, the last time I did hamstrings, I kind of felt a little like pull that was very uncomfortable. So I kind of thought the hamstrings have been getting hit enough lately. There's no reason to continue to damage them if it's not necessary. But I feel like they definitely got its workout with those heavy deadlifts, because it's a primarily hamstring movement for me, and with those snatch grip deadlifts. So I think that I got the most of it. So when I was doing the feel work today, it kind of felt good just to kind of do those other movements on the assistance and accessory giant set portions. It felt better to do those movements instead, and completely cut out hamstrings from the workout from today, and maybe do it next time when I'm feeling a little bit better. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I will see you later. Thanks.